We're stepping away from sensors, steel, and corrosion models to focus on something just as critical: people. Because when we talk about pipeline safety, we're not just talking about hardware. We're talking about the culture, the leadership, and the environment that shapes human behavior every single day in the field. At the heart of this conversation is a concept called psychological safety, the shared belief that it's okay to speak up, ask questions, and even challenge authority without fear of embarrassment, retaliation, or punishment. In other words, it's about building a culture where people feel safe being honest even when it's uncomfortable. In high-stakes fields like upstream oil and gas, that kind of openness isn't a nice to have, it's essential. The margins for error are small. Equipment can fail. Conditions can change rapidly. But it's the silent risks, the ones that go unspoken, that are often the most dangerous. When people hesitate to raise concerns or admit mistakes, hazards multiply in the background. One of the most insightful takeaways from our source material is the idea of the J-curve. Change, even change meant to improve safety, can temporarily make things harder. Just like a golfer trying to improve their swing, performance often dips before it gets better. That initial discomfort, it's normal. Leaders need to prepare teams for that. They need to help people understand the bigger picture, and they need to stay present during the dip. They also need to model the behavior they hope to see. That means showing vulnerability, being open to feedback, and creating space for people to admit when they don't know something. Because history has shown, from pipeline incidents to space shuttle disasters, that silence can be deadly. And we're not just talking about abstract leadership theory. Let's talk about real-world examples. Pipeline failures in California and Michigan have shown how small communication breakdowns, missed conversations, unclear roles, assumptions about who holds decision-making authority can have massive consequences. The technical systems were in place, the hardware was working, but the human systems, they failed. Psychological safety isn't about soft leadership. It's about strong leadership, the kind that invites input, values curiosity, and isn't afraid of hard conversations. It's the kind of leadership that knows sometimes the best risk prevention tool isn't a sensor, it's a conversation, a clear, honest conversation where people feel safe being real. One of the most powerful tools leaders can adopt is the habit of asking open-ended questions. What concerns you most right now? What are we overlooking? If you were in charge, what would you change? When leaders ask, listen, and then act on what they hear, they send a message that every voice matters. We also need to rethink how we train leaders. Technical knowledge is critical, but so is emotional intelligence. Leaders must be equipped to recognize when fear is keeping people quiet. They must know how to respond in a way that encourages future input rather than shuts it down. And we need to look upstream, literally and figuratively. Because the conditions that lead to corrosion and failure in our pipelines often start with upstream human dynamics: confusion, miscommunication, and fear of speaking up. So, if you're in a leadership role, ask yourself, are your people empowered to speak up? Do they feel heard? Are you showing them it's safe to challenge the status quo? Are you modeling humility and inviting diverse perspectives into the conversation? Because the answer to those questions may be the key to preventing the next failure and to creating a culture where everyone feels responsible for safety. Thanks for listening.